Welcome to 1 minute drawings. These are a little tricky. We're starting with a time lapse of me doing some 1 minute drawings. I'm using a piece of Conte in pencil form. I'll talk about the materials in just a second. And you'll notice I'm making very long lines, making big decisions quickly. I'm holding the pencil underhanded because it forces me to make larger decisions more quickly. And I'm connecting all the main masses pretty rapidly and really building up the drawing. So this is Conte, the same stuff that I was using in the previous time-lapse part of this. This is just the same stuff in a little stick form. And a little stick form is really useful. You can file one end to a point and dull down the sides a little bit and use it almost like a brush. You can make value really quickly. Conte comes in a lot of colors. I just happen to like these earth tones. And it's like a compressed charcoal with a little bit of oil in it, so it really doesn't erase at all. But it's really good for quick drawings. Although the principles I'm talking about you can use with many materials. And the paper I'm using is just cheap sketch paper. So let's get started. So we're gonna do some 1 minute drawings. I'm gonna use a little piece of Conte. I like it because I can use the side of it to make value really quickly. We have a priority for this, which is action first. We wanna get the gesture down. Start a little bit light. Not too light because we only have a minute. Then proportion, which we won't have time to measure, but I want to talk about that in a second. And maybe a little bit of volume. These 1 minute drawings are not going to be finished drawings. It'd be very frustrating if you think of it as a finished drawing. They're really a quick sketch where your main job is to get the action. And the order that I noticed I tend to go in, especially for standing poses, is head first, then the neck, then the spine, because it connects the main masses of the head, rib cage, and pelvis. Then I look for the axis of the shoulders, axis of the pelvis, go to the weight-bearing leg, the other leg, and arms. This is the order that I go in just to help me make decisions. Since we have to do it pretty quickly, it's going to help us. So first thing, if we use an egg shape for the head, we don't really have time to measure, so we kind of get used to these proportions. If that egg, if that egg is 1 high, then the egg for the rib cage is going to be about 1.5 heads high. Then we go down to the pelvis. His weight's pretty even. And then down to the feet. So you'll notice I have rib cage plus shoulder axis, pelvis plus axis. I'm going to tend to look for these axes. It's really useful to look for those things. So again, 1 for the head, 1.5 for the rib cage. The pelvis will also be about 1 head high. And this will put you roughly, your middle of your drawing is going to be somewhere in this range, depending on what they're doing with their legs. Then I haven't even given him arms yet. So I'll give him some arms, and he's holding a pole. We'll throw that in. So I was talking about the axes. Axis of the shoulders is a good place to look for structure. Axis of the pelvis. Axis of the knees, like which knee is higher. And then axis of the feet. His foot on the right is a little bit lower. So we're not going to have that much time, but if you can get used to 1, 1.5, 1, it'll help you set up your proportions much quicker as you get used to it. Almost like a letter form. You have like uppercase and lowercase letters. All right, Ed, let's do an honest one.
Okay. Agree with
yeah. So start the same way. Head, neck. See what the spine's doing. That really connects those 3 masses to the pelvis. His weight's pretty even again. So even if you want to just simplify the forms, it'll help you make decisions. Right, then I'll put on his arms. Then maybe I get a little bit of volume in. Let's get that pole. Now that I have some structure, I'll dig in a little bit harder and maybe try and get a few lines that are more decisive. All right, we'll do another one. So again, head, look for a little bit for the neck because everyone tends to forget it. Spine ties the main masses together. Rib cage, pelvis, his weight's pretty even. Weight bearing leg, his other leg, and then his arms. And he's holding a pole. Throw that in. Maybe I can get a little bit of either be more decisive but with line or with value.
that's good for ones, I think.